if deku was a todoroki. Um, Reason I'm not doing one of my other videos is because I was like, kind of want to do something new and whatever. And plus, I just didn't know where I wanted to take them, and I kind of don't know which one to do and like whatever. So I said, let's do a new what if, and this what if popped up into my mind, and basically this is my second take on doing this. First video wasn't long enough, so I kind of deleted it. So I kind of like know what the backstory is going to be, so I'm just going to scan through that real quick. Basically, Inko and Rin or whatever Tokoroki's regular mom is both married to Endeavor, but Tokoroki's mom is more like, yeah, this is my wife, and Inko is more like, I'm just the maid of the house, like I'm totally not married or nothing. I'm like just single, and every time like Endeavor's friends come over, Inko has to take off her ring and like puts it in her pocket. So like she's not married at all. Like she has to act like she's not married, and then um that basically is like their whole relationship. I'm not gonna deep dive into that. Feels like it's not that important. It's just like that's how Deku is going to be like there, but still be Ingo's like son because I didn't want to change that. Oh, and Ingo's quirk, her quirk is psychic. She's basically a full blown sidekick. Like she can read minds, see future, see past, lift stuff, like lift. She still can only lift light objects, but and she can only read like not a lot of thoughts. Basically, her quirk is still like very very weak. But if she trained, her quirk would actually be overpowered. But when the quirk doctor told her her quirk was weak, she like said, "Oh, my quirk is weak, so I'm not going to train it." But if she trained it, her quirk would have actually been strong. So, anyways, that doesn't even matter. So, Deku was basically a mistake child. He wasn't even supposed to be a child. To Endeavor, he was basically only having a one night stand with Inko and Todoroki's mom that night. Like he wasn't even planning to have a child, but he had two childs. Both got pregnant the same day, basically. So, um, that basically happened. They were born. I can basically skip 4 years. I do want to mention something. Deku's sidekick quirk was active since birth, and he basically automatically could read minds. And Inko being around like Deku, being able to read minds, basically it makes her be like able to hear voices. So Deku and her can't be nuts like near each other a lot because it completely basically drives her insane, making Deku still in the house, but Inko running away. So Deku would not know his mom because they basically have this bond where if they get near each other, their quirks like interact with each other in a bad way, making ego basically go crazy because she's hearing like voices times 10 what she usually can hear them. And it basically makes her go crazy. And Deku is 24/7 since birth, could hear these loud voices that Ego can only hear around him. So he's basically used to it and he learned how to put up like mental blocks by the age of 3, so he doesn't hear that many voices. But like very powerful voices still get through. Like one for all voice will still get through all of Deku's mental barriers. And I'm going to add a little bit of something else from one of my favorite TV shows. Basically, Deku is hearing a voice from this creature from a different universe, but I'll get into that like later because that's just something fun I'm going to add for my own entertainment. But yeah, so Deku turns 4, and Todoroki and him are close, and they really do get along. Like they're basically twins in their eye. Deku, let me explain Deku's hair. Half of it is purple and the other side is white with golden tips. Now you understand why that's like that later. Todoroki basically looks the exact same. Anyway, they go to Quirk Doctor. Deku is told that he has two quirks. Sidekick quirk, basically same quirk as his mom, same like all same abilities. And then he is told that he has a quirk called God's Flame. basically it's a white and golden flame that like will not go out unless you throw it into space. Like literally throw it into space. It won't get out. You like go out. And it'll take like 3 days to go out if you throw it in space. So he basically has like a super powerful flame. When Endeavor hears this, he thinks about training Deku, like he thinks about it for a good 5 seconds. But Deku, because Deku can like mess with people's thoughts. So say you're thinking of apples, and Deku, he can make you stop thinking about apples and start making you think of something else. So Deku automatically starts making Endeavor think about something else because in Deku already knows exactly how he wants to train himself. Deku having a sidekick quirk, he can already see into the future and he knows like what's going to happen when like if Endeavor trains him. So he's like, nope, I'm not getting trained by him. It ain't happening. So uh so Deku won't get burned like Todoroki because one side is white and the other side is purple, so like I'm not gonna get burned. Like no reason for that to happen. But yeah, so Tokoroki has Sam Clark. Endeavor, since Inko ran away, Endeavor makes Deku basically stay up all night and clean the house because that's what Inko used to do. She used to stay up all night and clean the house and then go to bed around 7, maybe 8. But now Deku has to do that. So Deku starts using his quirk because like to clean the house, and he like starts making his quirk able to wash dishes, sweep, and that's basically the strengthening his like his technique, at least his ten. I can't fucking speak English. His sidekick quirk, and he basically learns how to pick up more mental barriers because he's trying to block out the voice from the different universe. But he still like no matter how hard he tries, this voice is just getting louder and louder. And the more mental blocks he picks up, the louder the voice speaks. And Deku's like really trying to ignore it, but it's like it's not working. But like I won't get into that until like most likely middle of UA. I'll most likely have an arc where he gets into that. But I'm just gonna add like a little snippet so y'all don't forget about it. Anyway, Deku he goes down in like where Endeavor trains Todoroki, and he practices on like his firework, turning it into arrows, turning it into uh swords, basically using his sidekick quirk to like manipulate the flame and turn it into stuff to like throw it. He's practicing how to throw it, like turn it into fireballs and stuff. Basically, like this, like actual stuff that he can aim. Which Todoroki can't aim. He can like only like move his hand and then flames like fly off from his moving hand or whatever. I don't know how Todoroki uses his flame uh quirk. I haven't seen too much of it. Anyway, when he's done training, he bottles up all the flames and he puts like low gravity on it, so it's actually heavier. And he practices throwing it into space, and it basically takes him about 8 to get like right now he's only 3, so it takes him about all the way until he makes the gravity on like he basically uses his sidekick abilities to make to make it heavier. But as he throws it, he makes it lighter and lighter because he's basically just practicing on throwing it for now. He makes it lighter and lighter until he gets it into space. After he gets it into space, he goes inside and he goes to bed around 8. Then Endeavor wakes him up at 12 to make breakfast. He makes breakfast, and then, Toforoki gets his burn mark. Toforoki's mom goes to, like, the sidekick, well, not the sidekick, the mental institution, and all that basically happens. Endeavor hates, Toforoki hates Endeavor. Basically, all that stuff happens. Skip, let's say, 5 years. Deku's been practicing religious work. Deku basically turned into a full-on night owl, and he's trying to like fit his schedule. So he's starting to rebel against Endeavor. By rebel, I mean he's starting not to stay up all night to clean the house, and he's starting like this, like to completely rebel. And Endeavor doesn't like that, so he tries putting Deku in his place. But Deku just every time Endeavor tries talking to Deku, Deku just puts Endeavor in a circle of flames and then walks because Endeavor knows how hot Deku's flame is because one time Endeavor touched Deku like on the shoulder, and Deku like completely lit his whole body in flames, basically almost burning Endeavor's hand off. And then he like as he completely walked out the room, and when he got out the room, that's when he like used his sidekick ability to like absorb the flame. Because if Deku doesn't use his sidekick ability, no matter what you do, you cannot put out that flame. Like if you add water, it won't go like it won't put out. If you add ice, it's like it just won't go out. That's why I'm calling it God Flame. Or should I call it God Touch? Like now I'm going to call it God Flame. God Touch, I'm going to use that for a future quirk, which is going to be a OP quirk because it has God in it. Obviously, it's going to be OP. But anyway, uh, Deku basically just goes about his like regular day, and yawn. Anyway, he like just goes about his regular day. After that happens, he turns 14. Sludge villain attack. He basically pits this sludge villain in a fire orb. Basically, he pits fire around a like he basically makes a fireball. Then he throws it at the sludge villain. Then he makes the fireball big enough to surround the whole sludge villain. And then he shrinks it back down like the hand size isn't he can read All Might's mind, so he already knew All Might was coming, so he just sits there till All Might gets there. He throws the orb at All Might and says, there's like the sludge villain, and he starts walking away. And that he All Might automatically says is like, are you Endeavor's kid? And he's like, sad. Deku automatically says, sadly I am. And Almight's like, sadly. And he's like, yep. Deku's like, yeah, sadly. And Deku automatically just starts walking away, making All Might a little bit sad because he's I'm the number one hero. You should be excited to like see me. And Deku automatically turns around and says, just because you're the number one hero doesn't mean I have to be excited to see you. And he starts walking faster because he does not want to hear, like, because he doesn't want to hear about One For All because he already heard like snippets about like One For All, but he wasn't trying to learn anymore because he knew it was a secret. So he's like, let me just get out of this situation. But All Might like starts following him, and All Might starts thinking about One For All, and Deku's like, God damn it, stop thinking about One For All, and he's like, wait, and then on my cycle, wait, do you have a sidekick, like some type of sidekick quirk? And Deku's like, yes, my mom, which ran away from Endeavor, she had a full-on sidekick quirk. Mine is basically 10 times stronger. I can even hear a voice from another universe. So he's like, and that, like, All Might's like, oh, please forget everything you heard. I'm like, Deku's like, I can't just forget. I'm not like, what? And All Might's like, well, like on my side this somebody's like, what do I do, what do I do? And he's like, will you be my like assessor? And he's like, I'll think. Deku, like, he automatically says I'll think about it because that would make Endeavor like super super mad. So he's like, hell no, I'll think about it. And he's like, let me get out of like Deku automatically says, let me get out of here before I hear anything else I don't want to hear. And he starts walking away. All Might jumping the opposite way, thinking about this kid just learned my like secret because he has a sidekick quirk. So All Might is automatically like, I need to figure out a way to block like sidekick quirks because like what if One For All like gets a sidekick quirk and then he learns about like the secrets of One For All or something like that, even though you would already know it, but like whatever. Anyway, so Deku, he goes home. He automatically starts using his quirk to start cleaning because he knows Endeavor is going to say something to him about cleaning. So Deku basically just snaps his finger and closes his eyes, and like the broom and the dishes and the fact like the house starts getting vacuumed and stuff just starts getting wiped down. The bathroom starts getting clean, like every room starts getting clean just by that Hugh closing his eyes, picturing the whole house and like stuff getting cleaned. It's basically how Deku works. Like he doesn't have to close his eyes, but if he's going to do something big like clean the whole house, he does have to close his eyes so he can picture the object doing what he wants it to do before he can like just snap his fingers and make it happen. So I'm gonna let him do the UA like interest exam, and then I'm going to end it off there. I'll have him bond with Todoroki a lot more when they get to UA, just because I'm trying to have like focused on Deku's arc right now and Deku's backstory before I get into his readily bond with Todoroki. So it's time skip to where he's like 6 months of training. Let's actually say he takes Todoroki with him to train with All Might, and when All Might brings up like the like assessor stuff, he's like, you know what? Can you make Todoroki like also like have your quick too? I know you can't actually do this with one for all. I'm pretty sure, but I want them to have like some type of brotherly bond type situation. Because when Deku goes to this another universe, I want him to take Todoroki with him. I'll probably have him take Ida and Uraraka with him, but I want him to be able to go with Todoroki to that another universe. So I want them to have a close bond, so it actually makes sense for Deku taking Todoroki with him. So he basically lets Todoroki become the All Might grabs a piece of his hair, splits it in half, and tells him to eat it. And they both get the quirk. And Deku becoming I think Deku was the eighth assessor, so Deku becoming the 10th, and Todoroki becoming the ninth. Just because I want Deku to be like stronger, even though they both should be the eighth of the ninth or whatever. No, yeah, they're both the ninth, but Deku is just a little bit stronger because, you know, reasons, personal reasons. And I might actually have to leave it off here because like my voice is starting to like go dry. I'm going to let them take the interest exam. Let them get all the same places, but Deku drop down by two because he doesn't have that much time to study. Because he's training like a lot or whatever. And I'm going to leave it off with Deku going to like the regular exam and Todoroki going to the exam that he went to. And this is Shadow Master signing out.